A Love for All Eternity by Mary Kate Ellis, read by Hannah Patrizzi. It is in our good God that we can find the definition of love. It is in his most amiable and divine heart that we see the etchings of self-sacrifice and unconditional care for the human race, and thus it is only fit that we see that incredible and pure love returned. In the saints, we see true love returned. It is an unconditional, perpetual, fierce love of lives given entirely to the service and dedication of God. It is in the nuns who yearn for their true love. It is in the monks that contemplate him unceasingly, in the priests that hold him tenderly during the Mass and teach our young ones, in the lay people that flock to him. In every era, we can find an example of this quiet, saintly love. In particular, we can see this true devotion in Blessed Constance of St. Denis, secular name Marie Genevieve Meunier. We can find her in the Carmel of Compiègne during the Reign of Terror, a humble novice with a white veil. She was clothed in the habit on December 15, 1788, and should have been able to pronounce her perpetual vows the following year. But this long-suffering girl remained a novice for 6 long years, due to the October 28th decree that banned religious vows. It is recorded that her parents were indifferent to religion and reluctantly gave Marie up to the Carmelites. However, when it became apparent that she could never pronounce her vows, her parents dispatched her brother to bring her home. She refused firmly. Her brother then left and returned with the police in an attempt to force her home. This scene was recorded by the other sisters, and it was stated as a, quote, highly dramatic scene that was all procured, quote, in vain, as Sister Constance stood her ground in front of the police, stating that she was prepared to die for her eternal bridegroom, that she loved her family, but that she was completely at peace with her fate. This novice uttered the famous words, "Nothing but death," before being expelled from the convent with her sisters, forced to wear plain clothes and forego her religious name by the French government. The only other conversation of Blessed Constance that we have was recorded by the Abbé de la Marche, who was, quote, attracted to her human frailty. She was frightened of the guillotine, and the abbé quelled her terror. Quote, the executioner lets the blade fall, and you feel your head separated from your body, and you enter paradise. Are you happy? The abbé asked. Yes, Father, Blessed Constance replied. I am no longer afraid. Shortly after this, the entirety of the Compiègne Carmelites were arrested and taken to the scaffold for execution, and it was Constance that stepped forward first and intoned the Laudate Dominum omnes gentes, declaring the confirmation of divine mercy on her community, her fears vanquished by her love of God, and she died at the age of 29. It is because of this love that she was declared blessed, along with her holy sisters. This little nun, who could not even profess her final vows, would quake in fear at the thought of being sliced by the blade of the guillotine. It was the affirmation that God loved her eternally, and that paradise was awaiting her that quelled her terror. Do we fear loving God outwardly? How often do we think of his love for us? He is the divine author of true love, or else why would he have created us? Why would he have died for us? Why would he eternally remember us? Consider being unable to forget someone that has wronged us, hurt us, caused us incredible and unrelenting pain. Imagine closing your eyes at night to sleep and seeing them, trying to clear your thoughts and thinking of them. This is what God does, but he does it with a sweet and amiable love. He cannot forget us, no matter how many times we wrong him, and he loves us and loves us and loves us, and there is no end to that bottomless pit of sweetness. During this month of the Sacred Heart, consider all of the offenses he suffers daily, and how many times we falter and offend him. Have we caused one of those thorns to pierce his heart? And do we accept the little thorns he offers to us? Or are we afraid of the pain? Consider the blood that pours out of his pierced heart, And think of it as a torrent, a flood that can sweep us off our feet. Think of the depth of that heart which loves each and every one of us for all eternity. The sea would be no comparison to the depth of his heart. And imagine what joy he would feel if we would but surrender all of our worries and troubles to him, like dropping a boulder into the ocean to watch it disappear, enveloped by that precious blood. Can you not imagine the relief of surrendering to that thought of eternal love? Is it so hard to imagine that God can love us forever? Then let us be like this sweet sister. Let us remember God's eternal love for us, and let us return that love unrelentingly. Let his love quell our terror, and let us amend our lives, so that we may reside with him forever in paradise. Blessed Constance of St. Denis, pray for us. Carmelite Martyrs of Compiègne, pray for us.